Thanks for joining us, Anthony. You retired officially 16 months ago. How's life been for you since then?
Mate, it's been odd. It's been odd, Steve, to be honest with you, because, mate, you've been in the boxing game for an awful long time. Do you know exactly what I mean? Like, when I say that, when you're a fighter, when you box, and I've boxed from 12 years old, and boxing was the only thing I ever wanted to do. Like, and I had opportunities to do other things, but they never came close to boxing. Boxing was my life. Like so many boxers up and down the country, and then it got taken away from me last year through my own and I had to retire. I was forced into retirement last year, and it was devastating. And I was heartbroken, crestfallen. I felt like I'd lost my career, my passion, my identity, because my entire life I'd been Anthony Ogogo, the boxer, and all of a sudden I wasn't, and it was hard. It was really hard, and I struggled. I admit that. So, but yeah, I mean, the first few months were real difficult, and then I am a very positive person, and people do commend me on my positivity and always looking for the bright side of life. And I thought, you know what, I'm 30 years old. I've been forced into retirement. Like, maybe I'm not too into the spirit world or anything like that. I'm quite laid back, like chilled out dude. I don't really believe anything, but I don't not believe anything. And I just thought maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe there's a reason why I wasn't meant to fight anymore. And I think it's my job to go out there and find out what that reason was. I'm very lucky, very fortunate to be afforded an opportunity to do something else that I love, to be a wrestler, which I never thought I was going to get the chance to do, because I've always only wanted to be a boxer. So there's loads of bad things around not being able to box anymore, and I could bore you to tears with all of them. But as I said, I'm very positive, and I like to look at the positive side of things. And being forced into retirement 5, 6, 7 years earlier than I wanted to as a boxer, it's afforded me the chance to live out another childhood dream, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, very much pros and cons to the whole situation.
And obviously, we'll go on to talk about your wrestling. So I really want to hear about that, because of the AEW, and follow Tony Khan because he's a Fulham man and all that sort of thing. But what made you, you were registered blind, I think, after your fight in 2016. What made you keep continuing and fighting and having all these operations and spending all this money?
Yeah, and my left eye. Thankfully, my right eye was good, and it's been carrying the load of both eyes for the last 3-4 years, and will continue to do so for the rest of my life. So fingers crossed, my left eye stays, my right eye stays good. Mate, just the desire and determination to it's really hard to describe. Like, since 12 years old, I've had a dream of being a boxer and winning an Olympic gold medal and becoming a world champ. But the only things I ever wanted to do in my life. I couldn't care less if after that I was a bin man or a postman. I couldn't care less. But as long as I achieved an Olympic gold medal and a world title as a pro, then, mate, I'm happy. My life is complete. The Olympics, didn't work for me for many reasons. I know, Steve, you're clued up on the reasons why, but I had a real tough build up to the Olympics. I dislocated my right shoulder a year before. I struggled through and tried to qualify with my shoulder dislocated, and the labrum torn, and the whole rotator cuff muscle was just smashed to bits. I couldn't, because I had the best win of my life against Artem Chabotarev, the Russian. It was unbelievable. Best win of my life. I've gone to celebrate the biggest win of my life. My shoulder came out of the socket again. And then had to get the shoulder surgery done. I had to reduce a 10, 12-month rehab into 5 months just to go to the second qualifier. Went to the second qualifier, my shoulder, I couldn't throw uppercuts, couldn't throw hooks, I could only throw straights. And I had about, I don't know, an arbitrary number, but the power in my right arm is probably 50, 60% at best. I finally qualified, and then the Olympic Games, from when I qualified to my first fight in the Olympic Games, were 8 weeks apart. I had a week off with my family. I went back to Sheffield, my first week back to Sheffield. 6 weeks for my first fight. My sister called me at 8:20 on a Tuesday morning saying, "Andy, you've got to come home now because Mark's about to die." She basically, long and short, she had a brain aneurysm, and she remained in a coma for months and months and months. She had operations on her brain every other day to save her life. I didn't do a thing for 4 weeks. I didn't leave her bedside. I held her hand and bloody combed her hair. Things were, a son shouldn't do to a mum, when he's 23 years old. As did my 4 sisters. We were all there with her. And then after 4 weeks of doing nothing, not throwing a punch in anger, not doing a sit-up, my sisters said to me, look, you've got to do the Olympic Games. My first fight was in 10 days' time. You've got to do the Olympics. And at that point, I'd pulled out, because how could I go and fight the Olympic Games? My mum, my fucking hero, was in hospital fighting for her life. So, and then they said to me, you've got to do the Olympics, because when mum gets better, now none of us thought she was going to get better at this point, because she's in a really, really bad way. But when mum gets better, she's going to feel awful knowing that you didn't do the games because of her. I thought, so they were guilt tripping me, essentially. But they're right. Like, in the slim chance mum did survive it, did recover, should have been so upset that I didn't do it, because she knew. At the time, I still lived at home. At the time, she still washed my bandages, she washed my clothes, washed my bloody vest. At the time, we trained in Sheffield Monday to Friday each week, home for the weekend. At the time, 23 years old, I lived at home still. Every Monday morning, I'd come down, I'd go up, do my run, get my bag ready, and go to Sheffield. Every Monday morning, I'll go to the kitchen, and there was a little packed lunchbox that my mum made me for my journey, the 4 hours of Sheffield. So I was very much a mummy's boy. I am very much a mummy's boy still. Anyway, so I went to the Olympic Games. I had one sparring session before the Olympics. I sparred Fred Evans, tremendous fighter. I had my phone in my pocket, because my mum's next to kin. So if the hospital called me, they called me, and I relayed back to my family. So my phone in my pocket. I'm now sparring Fred Evans, who went in the silver medal in London, who's mustard. I thrown a sloppy jab. My first punch I've thrown in a month. Southpaw, slipped out, boom, right hook to the body, and he's broke my rib. And I thought, fuck. And I sat on the ring apron after the spar. I used to sweat a lot when I trained. And the sweat was masquerading my tears, because I was crying my eyes out, my shoulders were bobbing up and down. I sat there thinking, I've got a broken rib. Anyone who's ever had one knows that every time you breathe, you're getting stabbed in the stomach. I had a dislocated shoulder, which was still agony. I had tears in my Achilles tendons, which I'd later required 4 surgeries on them when I was a pro. And worst of all, I thought, my mum's going to die, never going to see her again. And that was my build-up to the Olympic Games. And my first fight was 8 days later. I went into the Olympic Games, had a really hard draw, had a really tough draw. And even though I'd missed loads of training, even though I was injured, shoulder, Achilles, rib, even though I wasn't sleeping thinking my mum was going to die any minute, I still went there and won a bronze medal, which I'm very, very, very proud of. It's taken me a long time to be proud of it, because if I'm being very honest, and I don't box anymore, I haven't got to protect egos and feelings. I don't care. If I upset the apple cart, I don't care. I'll be very honest, I was very bitter for a long time after the Olympic Games. The fact that I didn't win a gold medal, and Andy Joshua did, or Luke Campbell did, and Nicola Adams did. And it's no disrespect to them 3 fighters. They're great, great, great fighters, some of the best in the world. But I was as good as them, and that was my level. And my journey had been much harder than theirs, and I felt like I deserved it. And whereas I had really hard, tough fights in the build-up and the Olympics, Joshua, he probably got beat against the Cuban, probably lost to the Italian in the final. So he probably lost 2 out of 4 fights, and he got a gold medal. And I'm boxing my heart out, and I didn't win a gold medal. So I was very bitter for a long time. So the reason why this is relevant is because what I did, and I like Joshua. He's brilliant. Campbell, roommate, I love him. Nico Adams, tremendous boxer. I ain't knocking them as people. I'm knocking the fact that I didn't get what I thought I deserved and my efforts deserved. So what I did when I turned pro, come back to the original question, reason why I carried on when I was in a state is because not winning the Olympics for me, what I'd done, I put even more emphasis on winning a world title as a pro. And I had to, because I had to win the world title as a pro to make up for not winning the gold in the Olympics. I made a decision, 23 years old, that I didn't want to wait 4 more years and do Rio for numerous reasons. The main reason being what I'd done, I'd encapsulated my mum's illness and the Olympics together, but they were intertwined. So I didn't want to wait 4 years and go through the whole process again and bring back those bad memories. Because at the time, my mum was still very, very poorly, and we didn't know if she was going to live or die or not. So I made the decision to turn pro, and I'm very, very happy to say that my mum is making still 8 years on, still making a tremendous recovery. She's alive, she's well, And so I'm really, really happy how that ended up, obviously. But yeah, at the time it was very difficult. So that's why, Steve, that's why I carried on. When everyone was saying to me, just stop, I kept going because I was so dealt into my dream.
And also at the Olympics, you got the bronze, but you did the whole of the middleweight division a favour. You beat Krytov on the first Saturday of the games, didn't you?
Yeah, that's my second part. Well, no, my first Saturday. So the ceremony was the Friday night.
Yeah,
I didn't even go to the ceremony because, pardon?
Saturday you beat Krytov, didn't you?
Oh, mate, listen, every day, the days was like a blur. I don't know what day of the week it was. And he punched so hard. Whatever day of the week I thought it was, he punched out on me.
Really?
Yeah, I blocked you, mate. He punched I've never been hit like that before, mate. And most of his shots, because he could punch so hard, most of his shots I blocked and covered up and took on the gloves, and they still knocked me sideways. But the reason why that hurt so much again is because I went again, Steve, you know boxing, so I'm preaching to the converted already. But when your preparation is messed up in boxing, you're not as fit and you're not as strong. And if you're fit, Muhammad Ali against Henry Cooper back in '63, when Henry Cooper chinned him, Henry Zammer chinned him, boom, he's on the floor. Andrew Dundee, he had a cut in his little glove, and he bought him a minute's rest. I bought him. When you're fit, a minute is all you need. When you're not fit, half an hour could go by, you're still in the wilderness. I wasn't fit at those Olympics. Mentally, I wasn't fit. Emotionally, I was in a mess for the reasons I've said. Physically, I'd missed 4 weeks of training. I couldn't run. My rib was killing me. Every time I breathed, I was getting stabbed in the stomach. I could punch. There's a misconception in boxing that I couldn't punch hard. That was like, had I got back, if everyone would have seen my true power, I could bang hard enough. And as a boxer, I was light on my toes. My right hand, I could deter people from coming in with my right hand. The Ukrainian, because my hand was so sore, it wasn't even sore. It was the fact that my shoulder wasn't secure. It wasn't even like a pain thing, because pain, you can overcome pain. But when your shoulder is dislocated and your labrum is torn, and when you miss a punch, your shoulder comes out, which happened to me 3 years later in 2015, you can't generate the same power from an unstable socket. So I couldn't keep the Ukrainian off. He was coming towards me, and I was jabbing, backhand, hooking, holding, using my shoulder. It's not very good. It's not very good. It's good enough to lead a decent life. It's not good enough to fight at the highest, or to fight full stop. I mean, So, I mean, the really, again, I was left bitter because of this as well. Like, I've had lots of knocks in my life, but everybody has. I'm not playing the violin. I think it's important when you get knocked, you get back up and carry on. And that's what I've tried to do every juncture along the way. But I fractured my the best hospital in the world, doctor in the world, and got misdiagnosed. I was told to carry on fighting because the injury that I had wouldn't get any worse. That was categorically the worst piece of advice I could be given. I carried on boxing. Long and short, before my last fight, I had one fracture in my eye socket. And they said to me it was an old fracture, been in 3 years, which it hadn't been. And they said, because it's an old fracture, it's healed, it's not going to get any worse now because it's healed. I thought, okay. And then again, I'm paying an ungodly amount of money to the best person, so to get the right advice. And then after my fight, my vision got a million times worse, and I had 8 fractures in my eye socket after the fight and 1 before. So my eye socket just obliterated. And the eye socket, without boring you too much, the eye socket, its only job is to protect the eyeball and the muscles around it. Because the eye socket was damaged, I was getting whacked in my eye. My eye was getting damaged, and no damage ended up in a real bad way. And then, to make matters even worse, I was even scanned after the fight, before my diagnosis. Then scanned me. I went back to that same hospital, and they operated on me. And they did the operation that I needed at the beginning. The operation I needed at the beginning, opposed to the operation I had, the problem I had at the time. So they operated on me like I had one fracture in my eye socket, rather than even scanning me again and realizing the true seriousness of the injury at that point. And yeah, I mean, in the end, had the right thing been done at that time, I'd have been back boxing. Kell Brook, fractured his eye socket, came back. Fractured his eye socket, came back, and is back boxing. I saw his doctor. Unfortunately, I saw his doctor after the wrong thing had been done to me already. I saw Kell's doctor. He could not believe what they'd done to me. He could not believe. He was flabbergasted what they'd done to me at that hospital. He said to me, yours was nowhere near as bad. My initial injury was nowhere near as bad as back boxing, no problem. And that was hard to hear. And the wrong thing was done to me. I then had 8 further surgeries to try to undo. I had 8 further surgeries after the first bodge surgery to, 1, fix the problem, which was still there, obviously, and 2, to undo what was already done. Part of that, I had an injection in my eye down here into one of the muscles. This particular consultant, my vision being damaged in my left eye, it doesn't move properly. So when I'm in the boxing position, the left eye lagged a bit slower. So I'm always getting double vision. Vision's always jumping in and out, and it's bad anyway. So I mean, you could not believe it. I spent so much money on. I had 9 surgeries altogether, 8 to undo the bad one. I had 4 of them in America, all very, very, very expensive to try to get back in the ring, and it wasn't to be. I had to retire last year. Heartbroken, devastated.
How has it left you financially?
And rubbing. Yeah, not great. I mean, not great. I spent 100 grand on operations in America on my eyes, just operations. That's not even flying back and forward for consultations. That's not staying in hotels. That's none of that. That's just operations, 100 bags. And I did it for the dream I had. I did it to keep my dream alive, and left me in a hole. I had to remortgage my house. I had to sell my car to pay for these surgeries. Tough, mate, real tough. And I never made good money as a boxer. Because I was always in year 1 money. I was always had a few fights, got injured, start again. Had a few fights months. My first fight was a 6-rounder. I was meant to do an 8, then a 10, and then that was my first fight was April. And by the next April, we wanted to be British champion, fighting 12-round fights. And that was then kick on from there. I was very much on a fast track, and I was ready for that, and I wanted that. I never got out of year 1 because I had so many injuries, and then the eye thing happened, and it's really devastating. So, but listen, that's all the shit stuff. That's all the sad things. A lot of good's happened to me as well in this period. I'm not going to lie.
You're going to be a wrestler. Of course, a lot of good's happening. You're going to run the AEW. What you're going to do one night is you're going to be a heel one day, I imagine, and Tony Khan's going to get in and tell you off, and you're going to throw him over the top rope.
Boom, fuck it, man. That's it, mate. That's it. You are a scriptwriter for wrestling. Let's get you on board on the team.
Yeah. So how did you meet Tony Khan and join the AEW?
Yeah, do you know what, mate? Basically, so Cody Rhodes recommended me to Tony. Tony was over here. Obviously, he flies back for every Fulham game. That was Newcastle. It would have been May. It was last May. That was Newcastle, Fulham versus Newcastle. I think it was Fulham's last game of the season. He invited me to the chairman's box. I've gone. That was the last game of the season. So all the players, agents are in there. All the chief execs are in there chatting and stuff. And Tony invited me, and I was like a little guy in the corner. Didn't want to interrupt. He obviously, by the way, Tony Khan, what a nice bloke. Now, I ain't saying that he's my boss. He is the nicest bloke in the world. I've never met a billionaire before. And like, when I think of rich people, I think, they're a bit whatever. He's the nicest man in the world. The nicest bloke. Like, Fulham have got a real good bloke in him. Anyway, lovely bloke. So introduced to him, had a little chat. He was off doing his chief exec stuff. He gets involved in the deal. He's very much hands-on in all his businesses. Anyway, so during the game, we're watching the game, talking a bit of wrestling. And because we're both massive wrestling fans, the whole first half, the game was going in front of him. I was sat behind him. He was doing this the whole game, the whole first half, just chatting. Missed like 3 goals. Fulham lost, but but still. And at half time, that's so funny. So I don't know what his name, what his job is at Fulham. He's like the owner and the chief head of football. Yeah. So the chief exec was sitting next to him. So funny. So the whole second half, he kicked off the chief exec, made him sit in my seat, and we switched. And the whole second half, we sat, we talked boxing, we talked wrestling, we talked football. We got on so well. And I had a choice. Very lucky I had a choice. I'll go with WWE, the biggest wrestling company in the world, or do I take a chance on AEW, that are a brand new promotion? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with my gut, and everything is screaming to me, go with Tony Khan, go with Cody Rhodes, 2 of the nicest blokes I've ever met, in sport, in business. And yeah, I've done so, and I'm very lucky that I did, because I'm very fortunate. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be, unfortunately, I'm stuck in the UK because of the coronavirus. I can't get out there yet. But when I do get to go over there, it's going to be a fantastic journey, I believe.
Yeah. Final question for today. Are you going to be a goodie or a baddie in the wrestling ring? What do you want to be?
Mate, I'd rather be a baddie. That's a tough one. Because apparently, I'd rather be a baddie. They have bad guys always have more fun. I'm the biggest James Bond fan in the world, and I love Big Bond, but I often watch James Bond and go, oh, that's a good baddie. Oh, he's a good baddie. So it's a tough one. But goodies, like good guys, they sell more merchandise, so earn more money. So there's pros and cons. So I'm easy. I just want to be. I want to be a good wrestler.
I want to see you as a baddie, because we know you're a nice fella, but I want to see if you can play the baddie.
Mate, I'd rather be the bad guy. Trust me, I'd rather be the bad guy. But they always say the best wrestling characters are those guys that play themselves with the volume turned up, like a bigger, more elaborate version of themselves. So I've got some bad characteristics, unfortunately, but haven't we all? And if I'm a bad guy, I'll play on them. If I'm a good guy, I'll be myself. So we'll see what happens.
Anthony, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, mate.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.